And I got a face here who said he will lose his animosity today. Who are you? Why are you here?
Oh man, this is painful because I'm coming up from behind the screen, which I much prefer. But yeah, I'm Pesti, founder of EGC or EGCTV or Elite Gaming Channel, depending on what I'm calling it that day. And it feels great to be here in Berlin.
So sweet. Obviously, you already have the next major tournament lined up. $125,000 on the line. A tournament that will last close to 3 months, I heard, with the final stage of 8 players. But maybe the trailer can give us some more information.
The first legends of Age of Empires 4 have already begun writing their names in the history books. Their stories of conquest will be told for generations. But this spring, only one champion can rise from the gloom of the battlefield. Only one can edge further towards immortality. Hosted by the Elite Gaming Channel with the support of Microsoft and Surfshark. An event with more spoils of war than ever before seen in the history of the Age of Empires franchise. Strap yourselves in for 11 straight weeks of action as the 64 greatest players in the game embark on their quest for glory, with multiple formats pushing them to the brink. Who will take down the biggest prize pool in Age of Empires history? Who will rise as the greatest of their era? Who will conquer all in the Golden League?
$125,000 on the line there, and the specialty of this one might be that most tournaments like N4C only paying the top 8. We also give some to qualifiers, but your payout structure is going really deep.
Yeah, so we're going really deep with this. We're actually paying 40 places, and there was really a philosophy behind this. I know it's something that you supported as well, which is that we're at a critical time in terms of AoE4 as an esport. And we've got a lot of players trying to break out into the scene, and we really want to see a big professional and semi-professional scene develop. And in order to do that, we really wanted to try and reward as many players as possible, show them that it's possible to climb and break their way into the scene, and that they'll walk away from this event having taken something. So 40 places are being paid. Because it's such a big prize pool, I mean, there's still going to be so much money at the top, but yeah, gladly, more than half of the players participating are going to walk away with something. Also because, of course, it's quite a long event. We felt that with the amount of hours that people are going to be putting in, pretty important that they try to walk away with something.
And that's so good. That was what the scene was a bit aching for, I felt, because we had all those like tournaments like Genesis 7K out of 20K, SteelSeries Prime Cup 5K, plus obviously the seed for N4C on top. Like it was really top heavy, the structures. I think Winter Championship also 7K, right? Yeah. And it felt like people that didn't make the cut into the top 16 were always a bit behind, and finally you are addressing that. So a lot of people looking forward to that are thinking, okay, how much time do I want to invest into the future if there are other big tournaments coming up? Maybe you tell us a bit more, how do you get to those top 40? Like, how is the structure?
So the structure for Golden League is very unusual, I suppose. I mean, it's not something at least that I've previously seen. One of the difficulties that we had is we've got 11 weeks to fill. And you want that elite level action, especially at the business end towards the back, where you want to see the top players in the world competing. Originally, we thought about doing the whole thing in a league, but eventually we settled on doing this 3 times double elimination brackets. And the reason for doing that is that every player kind of has an opportunity. If you get knocked out, it doesn't quite go your way, you've got a chance to come back 2 weeks later and fight your way. And even if you've had 2 terrible results, if you go kind of to the last 2 or last 1 of the last double elimination bracket, you're very likely going to make the final 8. So the way that it's going to work is for the first weekend, we'll have some open qualification. And then we're going to have 3 double elimination brackets, each one for 2 weekends, and they're going to have really unique themes. So for example, in the second one, it's called Off Meta Combat or something like that. And the top 3 civilizations for every map are going to be banned. So
Ooh.
yeah, so for example, we'll have Boulder Bay included in the map pool, but you won't be able to play Rus, you won't be able to probably play French, and we're going to see some really weird Civ matchups that we've never seen before. People bringing out, I don't know, Abbasid or English on Boulder Bay because they're going to be the only civilizations available. So in all 3 brackets, we've got a different theme to try and create situations that have not yet been seen, to push the players out of their comfort zone and kind of ramp up the excitement level. And hopefully make it that every weekend feels quite different from the previous.
Wow. Okay, so 3 individual brackets, and you're kind of trying to gather points and try to make it through. I thought you also get like an extra top if you win one of those brackets of 2.5K,
Right.
if I remember correctly. And then after all those points gathered, the top 8 will go into another bracket, I heard.
Right, so each of these brackets that last for 2 weekends is that the purpose is to score points, and those points are the league table. So that's where the Golden League name comes from, that the league table is constructed through the results in each of those brackets. Quite right, you win $2,500 if you manage to win one of the brackets. So technically, the most that could feasibly won for first place is, I think, $37,500, which I think would be a record first prize if someone won it, because it's $30,000 for first, and you could win all 3 brackets, otherwise known as doing the Marine Lord. So in theory, someone could take down almost $40,000. So yeah, that's it's going to be really exciting. We're going to have this league table. It's all going to be to kind of play for. You're going to be able to see this interactive league table with players going up and down as they accumulate points. And also, we did this double elimination bracket, I should mention, so that we often found in these bracket-style tournaments, if you're seeded 63 or 64, you basically play Marine Lord in the first bracket, Vortex in the second bracket, Viper in the third bracket, and you're out, and you have these kind of 3 quick games. So by making it double elimination, we've got that route through to hopefully give more players more opportunities to play some games.
But what happens if you play 4 series and lose all 4 of them?
Then you're unfortunate, yeah. So, well, I guess you're guaranteed 6 matches, right? Everyone's guaranteed 6 matches. If you lose all 6 matches, then, yeah, well, that's just quite unfortunate. But hopefully it won't happen.
Okay, and trying to get into those top 64 to play in those 3 basically massive brackets and with all the big names included as we would expect. How do you get there? How does the qualification work?
So there are 4 ways to qualify for this tournament. The first one isn't really a way to qualify because it's 4 invitational spots, but only 4 out of 64. There are 3 ways for everyone else. The first one is through your tournament ranking. So you might be able to find it, you should be able to find it somewhere online on a number of Discords that effectively points are accrued for how well you've performed previously in tournaments. Obviously, S-tier tournaments get more points than A-tier tournaments and so on. So the top 20 people in that ranking are going to automatically qualify. And then the next 20 are going to come from the QS rankings. So that means anyone right now, if you're sitting at home, can try grind. If you're in the top 20, you're going to make it through into the Golden League. And then the last 20 are going to be in 2 separate open qualifiers, each awarding 10 places on the 19th of March and the 20th of March. So 3 different ways to qualify. And if you qualify, that's to play in all 3 brackets. That's why we've called it a golden ticket, because if you're in, you've got 6 weekends of action.
Okay, that's a great concept. Golden League obviously starting the weekend after N4C with the qualification, but obviously you are a relatively new face to the block for people that didn't follow Age of Empires 3. Maybe you can tell us a bit about your motivation, about your dreams. Where did you come from? Where do you want to go?
Sure. Wow. Big question. So I'm definitely much newer to this scene than, I guess, just about everyone. Yeah, just about everyone, and I definitely feel that I'm seen as kind of like this mysterious person that no one quite understands, like who's coming in and doing all this weird stuff. Maybe viewed as like I don't know, but it's essentially my story is that I just got into gaming very, very late. So I had never played any PC game of any kind until...
How old are you, if I may ask?
I'm in my early 30s.
Okay.
I'm in my early 30s. And I think mid-30s. I think I have to call it mid-30s
Is it
now.
above or below 34?
So I'm in my mid-30s, and I'm in my mid-30s. And so actually what happened was, during the beginning of the pandemic, I had a business working in something totally different in marketing, and we were told that the country was going into lockdown, and we knew we wouldn't be able to go to the offices again for weeks. And so I took a PC home that was used for work in my office, not mine, someone else's. I just stuck a PC under my arm and took it home. And that was the first time I ever played a computer game, and that was Age of Empires 3. And
How did you get to
No, I
like for
know.
the first game ever to end up with Age of Empires 3?
I don't know. Could you imagine? History for me might have been quite different if that had been Dota or something else or CS:GO. But it happened to be Age of Empires. I think I asked for someone for a recommendation, and they said, "Oh, Age of Empires 3 is the game that everyone is playing right now."
Oh, is it?
They said, yeah. I think
Okay,
they said
so it wasn't a friend of yours.
it was a friend of mine, and this friend. He was past tense a friend of mine, and he said the game. If you really want a game where you've got a potential to make big money, Age of Empires 3 is your game. That is the game.
Was it Drongo or what?
It was. So then I started actually. So what happened was I YouTubed Age of Empires 3, and I found Drongo, and I thought this is the kind of guy that clearly represents the biggest game in the world. So
He is.
And so I only learned how to play Sweden because he only played Sweden, and like he lamed Sweden up the ladder. So I only knew how to do that, and I started playing Age of Empires 3 every single day. And then one day, I messaged Drongo on Discord and said, I wanna host a tournament. I'll put up $2,000. We'll call it the table topper, and it'll be the top 4 players on the ladder, and we'll make them do a playoff at the end of the month. Will you host it for me? And what I didn't know was that $2,000 was like bigger than like any S-tier tournament for Age of Empires 3 for the last 2 years. So it created quite a buzz in Age of Empires 3, as much of a buzz you can get for a relatively small game. And yeah, and then I think just looking forward, then knowing what was coming with Age of Empires 4, I just decided to go all in. And then towards the launch of Age of Empires 4, I contacted you, and I said I want to put a lot of, a relative, well, I can say and what I can't say, but I said I wanted to do the first Age of Empires 4 S-tier event, and that I was willing to
Take some money into your hands.
I was willing to take my own money to make it happen. And so
and I said, okay.
And so Nilly said okay. And that was Genesis. And then that was essentially, I think that was the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the story.
Suddenly channel blew up, obviously one of like the major tournament at the start of Age of Empires 4. So many eyes on there. Incredible viewer numbers.
Yeah, 68,000. And then
That's
I thought
sick.
that would be my smallest ever, and that from them was only going to be... Yeah. It was all meant to be downhill or uphill, whatever you're meant to say. It was meant to be easy running
for Aussie
from
Drongo,
Genesis.
it was uphill because he's
Right.
Australian. Okay.
Yeah. Aussie, maybe the YouTube, no, but look, I'll tell you, not that you've asked, but my view on this in general, in Age of Empires 4, and so others will have different views, but Genesis was special and unique in that it wasn't an Age of Empires 4 audience, right? It was an audience checking out the brand new game, right? And I don't think you can replicate that. However, this is a good game. For me, this is a very addictive and very good game. And for me, it's only going to improve. And I think that we're now coalescing around like a core group of fans, and that we're going to hit that level. I think it's only going to grow and build together. And I think this event, putting faces to a lot of these names, is only going to be good for that. And I mean, a lot of people felt that will it be the same having a LAN event when no one knows who these people are? But for me, it's kind of been the opposite. That it's put really like personalities to people that we didn't know who they were, and it's injected like a lot of passion and interest with like some real personalities have come out of this event. Thinking of like the Mr. celebrating when he wins and stuff.
So sweet.
Cult personalities have been developed, and I think it's going to be like a real significant launch pad for the future of the competitive scene.
Yeah, so sweet. And we are trying to put more faces on there. We are trying to give those faces some more games, and you will be in great hands and great voices of Dave and Grubby. They're the hosts of your next set.